Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I thought I would start with a names in the news astrology chart, and in this case it's Bill Cosby. Enjoy. Names in the news, and welcome to my channel. Are you looking for the inside scoop? Hit the like and subscribe button if you are. Recently, Bill Cosby has been in the news. His appeal has been talked about, and we will look at a couple of charts to see what's behind all this and how he may make out. In case you are not familiar with astrology, the chart in the middle is his natal chart. That represents Bill Cosby himself. The chart on the outside represents the court date when he was sentenced. And you can listen to me and follow along looking at the charts and see how you would feel if this was you that we were talking about. We are going to touch on the pertinent facts and correlate them with the chart's aspects to see what we can uncover. If you were Bill Cosby, you would like to know a time where you could go to court and get the results you were looking for, wouldn't you? We can see that Jupiter is in the 10th house, that he rises to fame in his chosen career. That is in the sign of Scorpio, which rules boundaries for everyone, not just Bill Cosby. The planet that rules Capricorn is Saturn, and it's in his 12th house. This is the house of self-undoing and of things that you keep hidden. Saturn is in Aries in its detriment, a sign that makes you a self-starter, somebody who doesn't like boundaries. Bill Cosby has Neptune in the 6th house conjunct the moon. The moon rules women, and in this case, Neptune would rule fantasies. It is very useful as an actor to be able to fantasize about your character. That is a useful skill. It's the fact that it's in the 6th house where it can be affected by an opposition aspect to the 12th house of self-undoing. These are the things people should ponder and think about, wondering what things could be activated and when in their life. As many of you may know, Bill Cosby was in a TV show many years ago called I Spy with Robert Culp. They were both secret agents and used many techniques to fly under the radar and get people to do whatever they wanted. Of course, that included sex and flashy women in their life as well. Neptune conjunct the moon also tells us something. The moon rules the subconscious mind and Neptune fantasies. This can affect how one's rational mind works and may result in unconscious habitual behavior and action. Now, looking at the time of the alleged offenses, we can see that it's in the 60s. Pluto, power, sex, and control, was in the 6th house of health, and it was conjunct Uranus, Neptune, and the moon, resulting in sudden unexpected sexual fantasies dealing with women and possibly using drugs. The alleged activities were said to have taken place in 1965 to 2008. In 2008, we see Saturn, one's boundaries, conjuncting natal Neptune fantasies, and the moon, women, coming into the 6th house. Could something have happened causing him to put a stop to these fantasies? Now we'll go on to talk about the outside chart, the one describing the trial sentencing. At that time during sentencing, we can see that transiting Pluto is conjunct Mars, being at the same place as Mars. Mars and Pluto both rule sexual activities and power and control. In the 10th house, an angular house, unintended dignity. This would make them very prominent. And as you can see, they are in the same place as Jupiter in the natal chart. Jupiter brings things out in the open, and in this case makes them larger than life. The 9th house rules court cases, and as we can see, Saturn, that signifies confinement, is in the 9th house. It didn't bode well for his outcome. Not a good placement when you're having a trial. Next, we go on to look at natal Neptune, signifying drugs and fantasy. Transiting Neptune is in the 12th house of self-undoing, and in Pisces, which rules fantasy and unrealistic thinking, in an opposition aspect. It's opposition aspect that's going to bring this information out in the open. And as we know, the result, Saturn in the 9th, confinement. He was convicted and he was incarcerated. Now we will look to see if there is a reasonable chance for Bill Cosby getting parole in the future. If we look at the chart of Bill Cosby's Uranus return, which most people don't focus on because a lot of people don't live that long, It's an 84-year cycle, roughly. That being said, it's famous for its halfway point, the midlife crisis that people go through in their 40s. So looking at the Uranus return chart, we can see that Pluto is still in the 10th house. That has to do with what the whole thing is about: power, control, and sex, viewed through one's fantasies and using drugs to accomplish this Neptune. And we can now see the transiting Neptune has moved on from the opposition to natal Neptune, which will decrease the prominence of this issue. And we can see that Saturn confinement has moved on and moved into Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. Uranus also is the ruler of the 11th house, money from your career. And as we know, Bill Cosby has had a very successful career. So now we will look at Uranus. Uranus rules free will and a desire to do your own thing. It will conjunct his natal Uranus, or in other words, a Uranus 84-year return cycle completion. This may give Bill Cosby just the result he is looking for. So looking at these charts and noticing how aspects in your chart can lead you to unrecognized and unintended consequences, do you think it would be a good idea to have a look at your chart, possibly in anticipation of disruptive activities and aspects? Forewarned is forearmed. Time will tell if this aspect brings Bill Cosby the results he is looking for. Certainly it will be a prominent time in his life, and knowing that, he can seize the opportunities that are available at that time.